cases. So thank you so much. So now it's the last session of our event about support methodologies and additional approaches towards social and economic integration of TCNs. So the moderator of this session will be Joanna from our host organization from European Microfinance Network. And for the speakers, I would like to invite David Tekim from Signa, Patty Moreira from Cedidit, Marty Jean Crab from Microstart. I hope I pronounce all of them well, but I'm not sure. Thank you so much.
So thank you, everyone. I think the day looks absolutely fantastic, and we've learned a lot. Dear colleagues, we have to live up to the previous sessions where we got a lot of inspiration. So I want to thank you all for being here. So this session is actually looking at what kind of support we can offer to the entrepreneurs and the third country nationals. The day offered us both an image over the challenges, but also what motivates third country nationals when they are embarking this journey. And I will start with you, Patty, because you're also an entrepreneur and you're offering support to other entrepreneurs. And I would like to ask you what kind of projects and what kind of support do you offer for third country nationals?
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Patty and I worked for She Did It. This is a business incubator and our target group is women with different cultural backgrounds and different nationalities. And this project initiative started in 2018 already. I am not the founder, Lynn is the founder with Siham. And they started very, very, very small. And after 5-6 years, we have grown a lot. At that moment, I was already an entrepreneur. I am active in the food sector. At that moment, I was having my coffee bar in Mechelen, in the center of Mechelen. And at that moment, I was involved with She Did It as a mentor, doing volunteer work. And since 2 years already, I am working as a business coach. And the way that She Did It is supporting women is like the initiative started as a networking organization, just giving a space for women with diverse multicultural background to share stories, to inspire each other. But nowadays, we saw very easily and very fast that the needs with this specific target group was already acknowledged, advice, information. And that makes that She Did It already offer different programs. One of them is the She Means Business program. That is where I am working there. Is a one-on-one coaching when we provide information based on the needs of every coachee, every woman, based on her projects. So this is one-on-one coaching. We do 5 sessions, organize it in a maximum time of 4 months. And this is the focus goal for financial planning. So making a financial plan, business plan, and also giving a lot of importance and attention to taking ownership about your business. So knowing your figures, knowing from the very beginning what is your product, what is your pricing, what are the taxes in Belgium, and what do you have to consider in order to define the right selling price. You don't have to be the cheaper, you have to be the best. So in this case is what we already do in the one-on-one coaching, and we have other kind of projects like an aftercare, for example, the She Funds. Now we are running the second year. Last year, 4 ladies won a rent-free loan of 10,000 euros to start their business or to scale their business. And this year is now running already the second edition of the She Funds. We have also the She Hub, that's an incubator, concept store, when products, alle ladies who has already a product-based business, they have a place that they can rent, a small place, a small shelf to sell the products already after the Shemis business program. So one of the rules is that they have already taken the coaching program. And when they have a strong financial plan, the right pricing and so on, they can already go to the next step, and it is the She Hub. And that is in a very summarize what we are doing, but now we are just checking what are the needs of our ladies, and based on that, we are growing every year just to meet the needs of women who are trying to succeed in the entrepreneurial journey in Belgium.
When you design your programs, do you look at the stage of the idea of the project? I mean, do you have like pre-startup instruments, and then further on work with them to make sure that once the business is started, it actually survives?
Ideally, we should do the coaching session in the pre-start phase, but it's not always the case, because not all the ladies already know from the very beginning that we exist. As in some cases, they came just after 1 year, or they came to us when they are in trouble. So in the best case scenario, we should already give our coaching sessions in the pre-start phase, but it's not always the case. But they came 1 year later, or even when they have some financial troubles, we already help them to try to clean the mess and try to put all the things in the right place and understand where is it going wrong, for example. So we don't close the door to anyone. The thing is that we see ladies who already start and they took our coaching sessions. We have also a youthpreneur program for young ladies, and young boys are always welcome in this program from 15 years old to 26. And it is a youthpreneur summer school during the school year. Is also 10 weekend days that they spend just understanding how do you build a business, how do you make a program, step-by-step projects, and they finish with a pitch moment when they are ready for a jury. They tell them, the jury, what is the business idea. This is a theoretical exercise for the young people. And then most of them already grew up to the Shemis business program, just to look at case by case, what is your business idea, your financial plan, and so on. And then we see in our networking programs, and also in the follow-up that we do, what are the needs later. And that came up already. The funding is one of the obstacles, and physical spaces, and secondly, connection, that you already have someone to relate to talk about it, to get inspired. And that's what we cover already with our network events. And then in the aftercare, we also are doing some trainings, three times a year already. I think it's once in a quarter that we are doing some specific trainings in sectors like cosmetica, foods, and retail.
Can you tell us a little bit more about your projects and interventions, how you help third country nationals?
Yeah, sure. So I am Martin from MicroStart, and our name was mentioned before. So we give out financing for entrepreneurs or starters. We do this for everybody, but specifically for those who are excluded from the traditional banking systems, because unfortunately the banks don't always go with every entrepreneur that passes by. And so we want to give the rights for everyone to become an entrepreneur. So financing is one part, and then the other one is guidance as well, because we try to accompany these entrepreneurs before they start their business, during their start, but also after they obtained financing from us. So we have this accompanied microcredit that we offer.
David, our star in the program, in the PLOUTOS program. Can you tell us about how you worked in helping during the PLOUTOS project, and how you were on their side?
So yes, I was in charge of implementing the PLOUTOS project here in Brussels. At that time, I was working for Microsoft. Now I'm working for Singa. But anyway, we in both cases, I'm working with third country national, like you said, but here in Singa, we like to talk about newcomers because it's more broad. And so yes, I help to adapt all the material to the local reality, to find the trainers, to find the participants also. And then for the last part with the acceleration program, I was more there as a coordinator. Then I did some one-to-one coaching, like with Anita or Aminata, who are in the room. Yeah, and at Singa, so Singa, it's a international movement. So Singa means in Lingala to connect, and actually, so we make sure that newcomers arriving in one city, because we are active in 17 different cities, can meet a local. Because we feel that when you arrive somewhere that it's new, you don't know the culture, as I already heard early today, you don't know the language, you don't have any connection. So we are working with different programs to make sure that you get to know the culture, you get to know the language, you expand your network outside of your own community. And also we have specific program on entrepreneurship, not in Brussels, but in other cities. Really, each city has their own program. So yeah.
What did you find to work best when it comes to helping third country nationals? What were the components that you found most effective?
Make sure that you are on the same, that when you're working with newcomers or whatever you call it, make sure that you're on the same page, that you have differences, but also common points, and to build on this and accept the differences, make the bridge to make sure that we talk about integration, but sometimes in some countries, it's more oral way of working. And here in Belgium, it's really strict, really administrative, always writing and so on. So make sure that they understand this and that we can help them to adapt to the new system, let's say. Because most of the time, the spirit is really entrepreneurial. But in Belgium, it's not the spirit that is most important. It's really to adapt to the system and to make sure that they don't face the issues because of this, because we have a lot of good ideas, a lot of good projects, but sometimes you get bankrupt because you did not manage the administrative stuff, you did not pay your taxes, and so on.
Martin, do you want to add anything to this?
Yeah, sure. I totally agree with what David said. It's especially for newcomers that want to start their business. Belgium is not the easiest place to do this. There's a lot of paperwork. It's very complicated. I often get a headache just talking about it, let alone trying to understand it in a language that is not your own. And so what we have at MicroStart is a lot of experience, because we are now in our 14th year coming up. We have a lot of experience with financing and coaching third country nationals, and we know where the difficulties lie. So we know the traps, let's say, or the most common mistakes that you make in the early stages of entrepreneurship. And our advisors are very well coached. And the advisors themselves are actually oftentimes people that integrated from another country. And so we have in almost each of our agencies one person at least that speaks Arabic, for example, so they can really work with the entrepreneur in their language and explain to them in their language the pitfalls and the possible mistakes there. And it helps a lot. If you have someone that speaks your own, that knows the culture, yeah, that's really invaluable. So very grateful to our advisors.
I think at She Did It, we understand our community. We offer our coachings in different languages. Myself, for example, I do the coachings. The options are Spanish, Netherlands, and English. I have colleagues who are doing in French. So we have different locations, so coaches can already decide if they are doing online or they go to one of our locations in Brussels, in Ghent, in Antwerp. Wilborde, that's the other one. Also that we are an entrepreneur. All of the business coaches actually did it. They have their own company. We have also different expertises in our team. For example, I am food technician and also already 9 years food entrepreneur in the food sector, in hospitality, in catering, food truck, and all around. And for the technical background in the industry, I already know how do you have to scale your production process. What is the impact that you can get when you buy a bigger oven, for example, if you are in a bakery business, if you are baking a 24 cookies and you can already spend 6,000 euros in an oven when you can bake 100 of 120. So that is what we already relate to the SHE funds, that we already with 10,000 euros can already make a big impact in some of the businesses. So the nationality is already is also, I am also born and raised in Chile. I moved to Belgium when I was 29 years old. I already 15 years in Belgium. I learned the language, I integrate, I already know how do you feel when you came here and you don't talk the language, you don't understand the culture. The differences, the different point of view, the way of communicate. In my case, I live in the Flemish part. So this is also, the body language is completely different, and make good friends. I say in my experience, it's difficult to get friends with some Flemish people, but when you are already friends, you are friends forever. So that is a good point, but also, you feel like I define myself as an hybrid person because I get the most of the beautiful things from my Chilean culture, but at the same time, I also take over what is good here. And this is the way that I can already, make a fusion in two cultures. And also my kids are half Flemish, half Chilean. And this is the way of thinking that we are only, people in this world, and doesn't matter when you are born. You have talents, you have passions, you have a lot of good things to share with other people. And that is what we see, and she did it already. There are so much talent, so much good, high qualified ladies who are here just through BDAB, for example. I don't want to say something bad about one organization, but I see again and again that these ladies who have high degrees in their original countries, and when they are born and grew up, and they came here, and the only solution of option that they get is just to go as a cleaning lady. It hurt, it breaks my heart, because we have a lot of potential. We are smart, we are competent, and that is what we do actually, that we reinforce, we empower ladies to just go for it, but they have to be well informed. And they have to understand what are the risks. They have to already take ownership about their business, their figures. And that's what we do every day.
Okay, so we talked a lot about the challenges and the learning process that third country nationals go through to thrive. And this is what we want. But how does our learning processes look like organizations? What have you, by hearing the stories, and you work firsthand with third country nationals, what do you want to develop further on? As what sparked in you to look, this is a good idea to go further in this direction to really help third country nationals?
Actually, we are just in a phase of in the years of consolidate what we already have done. We are already almost 6 years active, and we started in 2019, I guess, with almost 100 registrations for our coaching. The year after it was 150. The year 2023 is 225. And now this year, 2024, we are at almost 380. And we have already a waiting list for next year's of 80 registrations. So that is already, the figures are telling us there is a huge need just in our target group. And because we also act as a role model, maybe it's pretentious to say, but we already are running our business. We are doing it well. We face also a lot of obstacles and challenges, but because we know the high and the lows, we can already give the right advice, knowing that the mental mindset is a big part of the game. You have to be strong, you have to be clever, but you also have to know yourself when you have, I need to take a rest in order to recharge. And we are not coaching our ladies from the theoretical part. The theory is also important, but the practical part, because you did it already, you face it already. If we don't know it in our team, we look for the right person who already match our target group and who can already give the right advice at the right moment. So now in the consolidating part that we are doing now is just to make bigger what we are doing. The She Means business program, the youthpreneur programs for the young generation, and just giving the tools through our concept store, to our She Funds, and the aftercare programs in general, just to give in the right information, programs, trainings, and educational, financial education is so important. So we also are now building an academy. She Did It Academy. That is a small master classes that we as a business coaches are already recording to put it available for our community.
Interesting question. I think few years ago, the federal government of Belgium did a big study about what they call migrant entrepreneurs, and it seems that 23% of the entrepreneurs in Belgium are migrant. What they call migrant, it's everyone outside of Belgium. So it means most of the people in the 23% are actually European persons. So it means that we have a big gap. So I'm glad to hear that there's big increase at She Did It, but the fact on the macro perspective, we are still behind, I think, a lot of EU countries in the integration of migrant through entrepreneurship. So they launch a market to support organization that supports TCNs. So She Did It got the market. Microsoft got it also for a different region, and a third organization in Wallonia got it also. But the fact it's only 5 organizations apply for this one. Only 5. It means that we have a big gap to equip the other support organization to help TCNs actually. It means they are not equipped to do it. They don't feel at their ease. So I think it's our first thing to think it on how to better having other organizations like She Did It or Microsoft on maybe different topics or different stage, I don't know, but to make sure that we have enough support to help them. First thing. The second thing, I think we have really good projects that support entrepreneurship in general or even TCNs. But we lack of having really good partnership or really a good ecosystem, because I heard that all the 3 entrepreneurs before us got support by different organizations. But I was wondering, do they have to redo the process from scratch each time, or it was really easy to go from one organization to the other? I have one concrete example. 2 years from now, Lynn come to me to talk about the She Fund. And she said, oh, but I had some financiers who are ready to give money to finance some people that we supported. And I would say, oh, it's a good idea, but what do you want to do on your own? Because you have on the other side, Microsoft, who can manage, they are used to manage money, they are used to manage contracts. And at the end, they did a really good partnership because, so She Did It and Funds for Good, it's a third partner who bring the money, and then Microsoft is managing the contract, all the technical stuff. So it's this kind of project that we need, because they are really specialized on supporting entrepreneurs with specific background. they are really specialized on financing. Other organizations can do other things. So I think we need to build partnership to make sure that they can go from one organization to another really easily, and having all the specific support they can take from each organization.
Yeah, I agree with David. He actually stole my answer, but that's okay. I have another one. So apart from working with the governments, also like Sally said earlier, the problem is with working with the governments is you have to wait for a long time for action most of the time. So we want to start on our own, and we're going to do this by expanding our what we call ambassador network. And I was planning on explaining the whole project, but actually what Sally and Yolanda and Anita just did is basically the project. We want to let our entrepreneurs that we financed and supported speak for their communities and their peers, because we can always talk about stories, but they can actually tell the stories themselves, which is a lot more powerful than talking about it. It is a way for them to inform their communities. It is a way for us to make sure that entrepreneurship is known as a way of integrating yourself economically, but also socially. And it's all it improves the notion of the options you have here in Belgium. One of the things that we struggle with is notoriety. People don't know that we exist, and by using these ambassadors, that is a way for us to get this done. Voilà. So it's actually working more with our clients and making sure that they can speak to their own communities.
Thank you. I really appreciate the diversity of responses. And I think in the end, we have some common grounds around the idea of partnerships, really capturing the diversity that we receive from the third country nationals and bringing it forward. And of course, the stories. I mean, I was half crying in the previous session. I want to open the floor to you if you want to address questions.
Yeah, thank you. I do have a question for the three of you, and the question is, how do you measure the success of the members, of your members, and what's the percentage of success for each one of you, for instance?
What I know from She Did It, because 2 years ago, one of our colleagues started to follow up the first and the second year of activities. So that means that all the coaches who already finished the program also measure what is the percentage that stopped in between. And then the ones who started, we discover, I don't know the figures by heart, but the ones who started officially, 80% of them after 1 year, so 1 year and now, were still active. And now, because we are 5 years in helping people, we don't know exactly who is going to move forward. But already for us, it's very important that we keep the ladies in our community. And if I remember correctly, you were also one of our panels in one event, yes? So we are just also giving the stage to the ladies who already are still in business, already are bringing something beautiful into reality to tell others, because we know how important is the role models, and also know that other ladies, they also women of colors, of different backgrounds, who are still in business and they are doing it well. So the success stories is very important to keep motivated and to know already that it's possible. And if you need advice, that these are the ladies who are doing it well, they are still successful, so that they can help each other. And the figures that we will see in the future, but till now, we know that a lot of our ladies are still in business, and we try to keep it in our community just to be on the right time when they are facing some problems, and also offering different workshops and trainings during the year, just to make sure that most of them are still in business for a long time.
For us, we do it a couple of ways. One, there is a big impact study we do every 2 years, where it's an independent bureau that makes a study about the impact that our loan had on society. The last one was done in 2021, and then we had a survival rate of 70% after 2 years. So 7 out of 10 were still active and doing well in their business. We also measured the integration percentage, which means if you're not working as an independent, have you found a job in the labor market? That was at 82%. And then there was also numbers on jobs created, the evolution in their own income, for example, all these kinds of things. But we do this every 3 years because it's very expensive to get this done. So we have to do it spaced out. But what we do in the meantime is we make sure that all of the entrepreneurs that we finance are contacted. We started this year, every 3 months in their first year, to make sure that there are no obstacles or problems in the first months or years, which are the most dangerous, let's say, to make some mistakes. Because I think you said it as well, people came to us when it was too late, when the problems were too big. So now we want to be ahead of this. So we contact them every 3 months in the first year that they are financed. And afterwards, it's every 6 months that we have some contact. But
I'm glad to hear that you're having some follow-ups post-creation, because that's something I have noticed, that many organizations will encourage you to go for your business, right? To start the business. Then once you're in, nothing happens, like you're left alone, right? You're left around, and at least from what I have seen, there is no this post follow-ups. And most of those business, you said, they still in business, but how? Because most of the entrepreneurs that I know, they still combining, the side business with the 9 to 5. So I'm also curious to know how they scale up afterwards. Do they really scale up, or they keep in the survival mode for years? That's the main reason. I think it's important to do a follow-up. I think it's important then to also help them scale up, because again, from my experience, most of them don't really scale up. They keep being in survival mode. But thank you for your, she has something to say.
Yeah, it's good to have follow-up possibilities, but because I know that a lot of support organizations, as you said, they help the entrepreneurs to launch, and then that's it. And now they are starting to also now propose post-creation follow-up and so on, like she did it and Microsoft do. But at the end, as soon as you launch a business, most of the people who get supported or get finance, they stop answering. So we also, it's not a miracle that it's not because you have follow-up calls or whatever that you will get an answer first. And second, because when you are in trouble, most of the time you hide from others and you don't want to talk about your trouble. So I think also you need to change the mindset from the beginning when you launch the business on. It's not because you are getting in trouble that you need to hide or you cannot ask for help.
Just a quick follow-up on this. It's also important to, when you are guiding them, for us during the financing, that you are very realistic about the expectations that they can have, because everyone wants to start and make millions of euros and be wildly successful, but it's important for them to define success on their own level. Some people just want to stay small, and that's okay. They don't want to scale up. They just want to be a small startup that makes some money on the side, and that's all right. So we also try to, within the follow-up, is manage their own expectations, because that can prevent also a lot of disappointments and maybe other failures. So yeah, just wanted to add.
This year, a few months ago, 3 months, 4 months ago, we launched a premium coaching program. This is a collaboration with Flyo, because it's intended, one of this part is also for Transisi Premi. I don't know how do you call it in English, transition premi, but this is very specific regional for people who are inactive and they want to start a business instead of looking for a job. So there is one part of this program is also a feasibility study. So we are putting a lot of efforts in the financial part, but this program actually is also open for everyone. So if you want to know, you already started your business, but you after a year, you have some troubles, so you don't know exactly how do you move forward, you can also take part of this premium program. It's a bit longer than the standard one. And then you have also a feasibility study as a part of the program, also pitch moments when you need to look for investors of that you have some sales problems that you don't know how to attract more customers and so on. So this program is just a second part for the standard coaching trajectory. So in this case, it is offer a possibility for the entrepreneurs who are already a little bit further in this journey and they face other needs, they have other complications of solve questions, how to scale the business, how to grow. And they can also use this premium program who has a small value added. You have to pay a little bit for that, but it's way cheaper than what you find in the market, because for 210 euros, you get 7 coaching sessions of 1 hour plus a feasibility study and so on. So the value that the entrepreneurs get is huge in comparison with the price that they have to pay.
Thank you.
It is not a question. I would like to emphasize on something said already this morning. There are a lot of Black association, organization, and I would like to tell you that to think about a way to federate all that organization. And I like to share with you one example. I know one Belgian entrepreneur. The name of his business is not a joy area. C'est les pompes funèbres africaines. It is a Belgian, and I see him in every event of Black people. So that is an example to introduce the target people. For example, so MicroStart can be a part of that kind of event every time the occasion is present.
So the question is, do you like have any matchmaking sessions? For example, I want to build this business and you matchmake me with Thanos that wants to build also the same business, and we come with the same idea, and you combine and, let's say, suggest we open together a new company or startup.
Like pairing, like having people with same interest working together?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Is it something that you do? Do you have sessions like that, or?
Just to get business partners, I don't know exactly. We can contact people. We are building, improving a platform that we already built a few years ago. Is a talent pool. And that's where every entrepreneur can already fill in a profile. And just through this system, they can match people, find people, other ladies, other entrepreneurs who are in the same field of complementary businesses, just to work together. What I know that is very often that they, as a entrepreneurs separately, every of them with their own company, they start some partnership. But I haven't any experience of, I don't know exactly if we should already introduce people just to make some partnership, because I know from my experience, I am also an entrepreneur, and I know that the vision and how do you see your company and when do you want to put it in the practice, it can differ from people to people, and it's quite difficult to match to people who are already in the same line. So as a business coach, I don't feel comfortable just to match people suggest that they maybe can make some partnership, but working together as complementary entrepreneurs, supporting each other business. That is something that I really believe that is a good thing to do.
It's actually one of the conclusions of the PLOUTOS project that we had. It's when we finish all the session with all the participants. What was missing is to create a group, even from different sectors, more or less at the same stage of development of the activity, and having session on some topics. They have the same issue. I don't know, they are struggling with the VAT or whatever, or they are struggling with stock management, and we bring them together and we make them discussing about the issue together and find a solution together. But actually it doesn't exist yet.
Yes, same for us. We actually want to start this next year in 2025, is to bring our communities of clients together, because being an entrepreneur can sometimes be a little bit lonely. You're just a sole proprietor. There's no one around you. So we also want to bring that community closer together, and that they can learn from each other, and not even just for problems they might face, but also just for tips and tricks, and voila, having a sense of belonging somewhere. But for your question, that's nothing that we do at the moment. We don't really match pre-startup entrepreneurs, no.
Yes, I want to ask. Okay, you guys, I know you for a long time now. You guys do so great to support us, to help us, to do everything you can from the beginning of our business till now, even with the failure, with so many other things. What are the main points that you need from the government to change so your work will not be faded? What are the points that you think that they are very, very important to change? That's very important that they need to know about it. So your work with their work could not be a failure. Like now, what I'm struggling now, I speak about it. I know hundreds of people, they don't want to speak about it. So please, if you have any suggestion, anything in mind you think that needs to be changed, please tell us.
It's a good question. For us, apart from structural support like funding or that's a given, it's more so for the governments and for the departments responsible for entrepreneurship, is to inspire more, and inspire more with stories of all the people. Because I take Flanders, for example, they are very proud. They are very proud to be a technology hub with billion corporations that are over $1 million's worth, but they don't talk about the local hairdresser or the local restaurant, or a story from somebody that came to Belgium that made something of themselves. It's always these big success stories, but it's never something relatable. And we are really trying to get them to communicate about every story, about everyone, and every sort of business. And that's not happening at the moment. And that should be, because we can do our best in bringing stories and inspiring people through your stories, but we don't have the reach that a government organization has. So for me, aside from funding, of course, it's also inspiring and bringing every story to the forefront. Yeah, and we can do it, but then we need their support to do it, or they can do it themselves, and then we're also happy.
I will emphasize on one thing. Actually, if it depends on, I will answer as an organization, and then I will answer as an entrepreneur. As an organization, as Martin said, actually we need structural money, because all the support that we propose, it's dependent to a donation, to subsidies and so on. So and there is no, except one or two, there is no really structured way of funding it. There is money from EU, but most of the time it's a pilot project like PLOUTOS. It's after the money is done, then the project is done. So we finish the project. So this is one issue. The second issue, it's also how to finance the entrepreneur, because one of the main issue to launch a business, and even more when you are at TCNs, it's having access to money. So you need access to finance, you need guarantees, and so all the national government, okay, EIF provide this in a way, but on a national level or regional level, they can also develop tools for this. And as an entrepreneur, okay, we can say they should remove the barriers, but on the Belgian perspective, I feel that they should stop fights to each other, because we have the federal government who decide on this, then you have the Flemish government decide on this, and then the Wallonia go the opposite way. So at the end, it's difficult to understand the complexity of the system. So they need to agree on something and to make the things easy.
Just to add on to this, like David said, like local guarantees or local financing options, they do exist, but not for small businesses, micro entrepreneurs, because it's too risky. And that's just not true. So just to add on this, they do exist, but they need to exist for everyone. Yeah.
In this case, I will talk like from this point of view of an entrepreneur. I found it always very frustrating when you are paying all the taxes and you are, for example, you get this kind of questionnaire and you say if you have from 0 to 4 employees, you pay. If you have one company from 0 meter squares till, I don't know exactly, 2 hectares like this, you are a small company, but between a company who is 30 or 40 meter squares in comparison with one company who has 1 hectare of building, there's a huge difference. And I cannot understand that you are staying in the same category when you are a factory, when you are a one home-based business. So that is a gap. This already absurd. It's ridiculous. When you are starting a business from home, for example, or if you are open a small shop and you are in the same category like the Lotus fabric in the industry park in your municipality, all of the thing that is really frustrating as an entrepreneur is that you are paying taxes for the gemeente en provincie belasting. And I don't know how do you translate it in English, but my municipality, in this case is Willebroek, is into the province of Antwerp. But I am paying to Willebroek and I'm paying to Antwerp. So as an entrepreneur, you have the feeling that you are going through the casa, paying 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And there is no differences between the really small business and the biggest one who are already 300, 400 employees. So these differences between a really small business and a factory, I don't see it. Also, as an FAVV, for example, I say the governmental entities, they are so far away from what the entrepreneurs are facing. And I see in our coaching programs that all this go to the FAVV of the AFSCA in French, the security, food safety systems. Oh, this is scary. And so also every time that coaches of people who are starting a business get a letter from the finance department of the government, they are chilling, they don't want to open it. So this is just the image that they give. This is scary is a terror story. So yeah, it is. But this is the point. Everyone here, every entrepreneur is already trying to make something and to create jobs and to put something into the world, something positive. And this distance between the governments and the field of an entrepreneur is too big. There is not communication, not understanding. And that is something in my it has to change if you want to make Belgium a country of creativity, entrepreneurship, proactivity. Otherwise, you are inviting people to stay home and to get money from the government because they earn much more money than an entrepreneur.
I would like just to come back what has been said. Indeed, we pay. You pay the 2 first years all the taxes without getting any €1 in your bank account. So at the end, you pay more taxes at the beginning for nothing. Yeah, so you are burning the money before even getting it. So it's also one thing that when I say barriers, it was one of them, and it's really a big one. The other thing, it's more cultural, let's say. it's just second chance as an entrepreneur, because if you fail, I think it's a good thing to fail because you learn from it and you can redo something like you did. But in Belgium or in Europe, in Western Europe, actually, it's not a good thing. If you fail, then the government will blacklist you at some point. Then the bank will say, oh, you failed. I know a bank in Belgium, well, they're active in different countries. I will not name the bank, but they refuse to open a bank account if you fail. If you get bankrupt, this bank will not even open a bank account. So this is not normal, and this should be changed.
And just a little add-on for the pre-starters. Actually, no, every entrepreneur, the inclusive language could be a lot better. And by that, I mean, they don't want to have official documents in English. Okay, that's not something you can change, I'm afraid, but change the language. I mean, Dutch is a hard language to learn, but they write in this medieval style Dutch that even I can't understand sometimes what they're talking about, let alone someone that doesn't speak Dutch or French or and that's something very easy. Change your language, make it as simple as possible that everybody who is learning can also understand it. There's no use for big words if small words works as well. Of course. Now that you're a politician, Sally, maybe in Antwerp, yeah, we can start there.
I want to thank you so much for your honesty, for the information and your experience and sharing it with us. I want to thank everyone